Hey everybody, Josh RV Nerd from Bish's RV, right up here in the corner of a metallic building, so pardon the wicked echo, and pardon the fact that I can't get you some big wide-angle shots of this thing, especially since I don't like to use fisheye wide-angle lenses. This is, I think, the only paradigm I've never before had a chance to put on camera, and I am so glad to get my hands on one today. This is the 295 MK, and tip to tail, tongue to bumper, basically, it is 33 feet and 3 inches. As far as I know, it's basically like one of the smallest full luxury fifth wheels that exists out there. And what's great is they didn't really feel like they made any major compromises getting us here. Like usually when you try to take a luxury fifth wheel and you try to get it under 35 feet, a lot of times you don't even get a bed slide. You start to go back to a north-south bed. This still has a full east-west bed slide, king bed slide, with washer dryer prep front mega closet, because this is also a big wide body beauty with really tall slide outs and maximized windows. All the window coverage is right over on the campsite of the RV where you really want that. And it doesn't feel like they gave anything up as compared to say like the 310 RL. Technically this one's big brother. This 295 is kind of impressing me. And it's also kind of been my experience that a lot of people tend to be really happy with the smallest member of a high-class RV family because it has all the high-class features, all the high-class build. It just doesn't have all the high-class weight and cost that is usually associated with some of those big mega monsters. Like we still have a triple air conditioner system here. We have an amazing hot-cold weather package. You've got really good running gear like, you know, an upgraded MORryde suspension and shock dampening pin box. A pretty reasonably large solar panel on the roof with an optional package to go further, add an inverter, and a bunch of other things. But it's got a couple problems too. Maybe you might see certain things as problems. I'm going to try to go through this thing in really heavy detail so that whether you're curious or whether you're serious about this being your second camper the first time around or the next time here, you can make sure it's the right one for you. So if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button. Let's go. And I think what's really cool about this RV is even though it is a smaller model, it is a squished down version of this because it's a 101-inch wide body product. It doesn't feel smaller. And I think that's really the magic of this. This might be one of my personal favorite paradigms I've gone through. Not because it's like a super original floor plan or anything. It's just what they were able to, like making it bigger without making it bigger, you know what I mean? Or making it smaller without making it smaller. However you want to describe it, I guess, kind of applies here. I like what they've done, and look at the campsite window coverage on this. It is just big. From the outside, sometimes you'll take a look at an RV like this and wonder, why are the windows not symmetrically sized? Why is that one window a little bit smaller? It's because the sofa's in the way, effectively. So they just have really gone whole hog on the windows. Now, they've also done something here I love. I've been very frustrated. What's funny is this is old. This is old stuff where the dining table can turn 90 degrees like this. Brands like Montana were doing this in like 2012. I don't know. It's like there's nothing new about it, but the industry, it's like everybody forgot. It works so well, they quit doing it. So I love seeing that what's old is new again kind of thing come back here. Now that is a power theater recliner. If you're looking for cup holders, the middle section folds down into an armrest. I'll get you a look at that. There are USB plugs built in at right where the power recliner buttons are located, but that's at like the thigh buster location. It's kind of the worst location possible for a USB plug, but just so you know, they are there. Let's work our way all the way up top here. This RV has a factory standard, what is it, 41,500 BTU air system, but it's 3 air conditioners in the living room and kitchen, the biggest room of the RV. You have 2 of the air conditioners directly cooling this room with maximum efficiency, because when it doesn't run through ducting, there's no turbulence, there's no backflow, and there's no ducting that gets heated up in the RV's attic and loses some of its cooling before it gets pumped into the living cavity. Now, your upper deck bedroom and bathroom do share one miniature ducted air conditioner, so kind of keep that in mind. This is something they've done for a while. They have this cool little, like, backlit panel up there above the sofa. It looks really attractive. I don't like that it's not enclosed storage, though. You know, now, also to be fair, that cabinet would be located dead above the middle of this wide sofa, so that's hard to get to. That is also another thing I want to point out. With this being wide body, they were able to give us a 3-seat sofa, like a 3 adult seater sofa, and still have side stands. That's what the wide body does for us. Now, both of the side stands actually have some storage built into them. I flipped that one up over here to kind of give you a little bit of a look-see. And you can see how you do have some power outlets down below that. I prefer it when outlets are up a little bit higher, but because of the storage in that, they really didn't have any better place to put it. Now, I will tell you, I'm sitting my butt literally where the armrest would go. I'm dead in the middle of the theater seat, and what I'm getting at is that the TV is directly centered off of the theater seating right here. And these are all your slides in your lower deck here. They are carpetless and floor flush. Alliance was one of the first to start doing floor flush kitchen slides and getting away from that traditional toe stubber, which is kind of nice. Now, historically, Alliance had a fireplace that pulled open and created storage. They have since changed that. It seems like everybody and their brother is adopting this gigantic, full, like almost wall swing open pantry-tainment center right here. I'll get you a look at that in a minute. There are instances, if you look under that overhead cabinet, you see the little black rectangle up there. There's a lot of household outlets under the overhead cabinets on this, which is very common in laminated wall RVs, whether it's a travel trailer or a fifth wheel. But here's the thing. A lot of times when you get an RV like this that's really focused, you know, it's you almost call it a rear living room. But I think that's why they called this a 295 MK, middle kitchen, because they focused a lot on this kitchen. This kitchen does not suck. This kitchen is actually really good for no bigger than it is. There is a crap ton of storage in here, and that is a big, like 20 cubic foot, 12 volt compressor fridge there with a residential sized microwave over the range there. The thing is, because the stovetop is not located against a sidewall, they don't really have a direct vent out for the heat. So that's where you are really going to have to lean on the big rain sensing XL vent fan here. Now, in case you're curious, when you see fans like this, they're not mounted crooked. They actually are mounted in accordance with the orientation of the roof line, which is barreled, not with the interior ceiling panel, which is flat and linear. So that's why there's sometimes those weird little visual things that happen there, because you're actually seeing an inside to outside interaction. Now, if I'm not mistaken, under the solid surface counter, you see these triple big drawers right here. If I'm not mistaken, there's dishwasher prep buried back in there. So if you wanted to peel those suckers out, you actually could benefit that from that. Now, when you are hanging out back here, especially when you're looking over this way, holy cow, dude. All the windows in the world overlooking the campsite of the RV. And since they really maximize the windows over here, you get just an amazing view of everything. But if you're looking for a little more privacy, you have both blackout night shades and day privacy shades here. Also notice how if you want to turn that table more to the traditional arrangement, there's a pair of fold-out guest chairs that are included with the RV that you could use. Now, again, that's a power theater recliner with that fold-down armrest. You've got surprising storage. Like, there's a lot of storage going on above that sofa, even if the middle panel is kind of dead and not really storage. But because we have a wider sofa, we have a wider hide-a-bed below. It's still short length. It's not a residential. Like, there is no such thing as like a king hide-a-bed that is king-sized. But in the world of hide-a-beds, that's I guess a kingish RV hide-a-bed. But check out all the kitchen storage we have going on over here. It is phenomenal. So you've got that full-on giant pantry-tainment center. And then, you know, it's interesting. In the middle of the slide out, that's where they put, like, I'm going to call that the coffee bar. Now, if I'm going to knock this kitchen for any one thing, it's potentially that it doesn't have the stovetop exhaust hood. But secondly, it is slightly more limited on countertop space as compared to some slightly longer models. Like when you get the 35, 36-foot version of this floor plan that most manufacturers build, you gain a good chunk of counter space that this one doesn't have. But I don't know, for basically just a smaller, easier to tow, shorter length couples RV, 33 foot 3 inches tip to tail, I ain't mad at it. I am actually overall pretty happy with what I see. Now, something to keep in mind, to the left and right of the stovetop, there's some countertop space there. I do like that symmetry, but there's also power outlets under those overhead cabinets as well. So, you know, you've got quite a few different places to be able to power things up. Below the dining table over here, the dinesk, There's also a set of household outlets. So, you're good there. I really like the taller slide outs in here. Like, this is a no head knocker. I'm a little over 6 foot. Those are, I got to think, over 6.5 foot tall slide ceilings. So plenty of headroom in there. The crown molding up top with the accent lighting, I love that. And I tell you why. If you're camping somewhere like in the morning or at nighttime, you don't always want all of the lights on. Like you're kind of waking up slow or winding down, and not having all of the lights on sometimes is kind of really nice in my book. Now, this is a personal thing. I personally am not a super fan of the dual entry bedroom bathrooms. I would love to hear your input. Do you like that? Do you dislike that? Like there's no really wrong answer. It's just not my personal favorite. I personally feel that when a manufacturer gives us a single entry door to the bathroom, that they can repurpose the wall space to be a little more effective. This, by the way, even though it's their shortest model, they didn't force you down into a queen size bed like some manufacturers do. If they standardized a queen and made this slide box only 60 inches wide instead of the 70 to 72 inside width that it is right now, they could keep the RV even shorter. It'd be 32.5 foot long. It'd be awesome. But they didn't. They still gave us a king bed, which is kind of cool. Now, you have household and USB outlets on those little post pillar things on either side. I tell you what, as long as we are facing straight down here, let's lift that bed up, show you the storage that's going on there. Those fold-away guest chairs that we kind of looked at earlier, that's where those things could be stowed away and stored. Additionally, you've got a gigantic wide body front wardrobe on here that is prepped and ready for a washer and dryer. You can either put in a combo unit, or it's a side-by-side, a washer on one side, a dryer on the other, but you can have that full function. And I know that there are more and more people looking to RVs as a potential sort of residence solution. I don't love RVs being used in that way. They're not really built originally with that intention, but having the ability to have a washer and dryer is actually really, really handy for some folks. But notice how like every little, the little like almost shoe cubbies up in the nose, they use that space. They had a funny little pocket next to the dresser right there. Normally, most manufacturers leave that empty. They just threw that little sit down, put your shoes on bench. And down below here, we also have a handy dandy little shoe storage area, a little flip-flop shop. By the way, you see the black switch right over here on the dresser. That is the ceiling light switch for here in the bedroom. Also has a dimmer function, although I found that when I try to dim lights with the camera that I use, it makes everything flicker, and I don't want to give you a headache or a migraine or a seizure. The TV is downward dog angled, so when I lay down in the bed like this, it's still pretty easy to view. Now from here, wrapping our way over to the bathroom, let me say this. I don't personally prefer a dual entry bathroom, but what's the benefit of it? Why would they do it? One, because they could. Two, if you do have a guest on that hide-a-bed, it more easily allows you to get in and out of the bathroom without, being visible or disturbing your guest. But if you notice on the left side of the screen, I was kind of fighting for elbow space in here. And that's one of the things that I think if they would have stuck with a more traditional single entry bathroom, they could have kind of gotten away from that. Now that's a nice medicine cabinet on the left. This over here on the right, this is going to be kind of for bathroom linens and stuff. Now what you're probably going to want to do, oh, hi everybody. I'm in the nice chubby reflection over here. What you're going to want to do is roll your towels up, more than likely, and kind of vertically stack them in there like a whole line of burritos. Yummy. And then you're going to be good. Look at the shower headroom. Look at me on the left. The shower headroom in here is amazing. Now, interestingly, they actually have recessed the shower pan into the floor so that it is truly floor flush. But before I look at that, I do want to point out that up here in the Alliance Paradigms, we do... There's a whole joke there that probably most of you don't know about. Anyway, those of you who don't know the joke, if you know me, you're like, yep, he just says stupid things. That's right on, right on track there. You do have a fold down seat in there as well. Now, one of the kind of cool things that's going on here is that this is a Norco Exact Slide system. With this being an Exact Slide system by Norco, that is one of the only towable systems where the slide manufacturer, the system manufacturer says, yeah, If it's retracted, you can still occupy it. Now, this is a big 80-inch long residential length bed. I don't know if Alliance has done that testing, but there might be some potential. Now, I finally found, like so far I've been saying, it's a small RV and they really didn't make any sacrifices. I finally found where it gives the straw that broke the camel's back, road mode. When the slides close, it is really tight. Here's the thing. The control panel for the slides, you actually have to reach under and around that door to get to them, which could kind of be problematic. But here's the thing. They actually kind of have a little bit of a workaround for this because they don't use any sort of Bluetooth command systems or anything like that. Over here in the pass-through compartment, you have switches for your slide out right here and your awnings on the outside of the RV. So you can actually open that slide from here and then go inside and get to the rest of your control panel. If you reach around the corner like I did, you can get to it too. Now that's awkward. It's weird. It's not my favorite thing, but if you appreciate how we still take the time to showcase that for you, hit that subscribe button, like our video, let us know we're doing a good job. We'll keep on keeping on like Joe Dirt, because life's a garden. Dig it. And as much as I would love to give you a nice big wide angle look at this, because I actually think it has one of the best looking exteriors in big fifth wheels today, this thing is all nosed up in the corner corridor of this building, and there's not a lot of room to get around. Now, you may have noticed clipping along the bottom of the screen there, a second look at our weights and measures. Despite the fact that this is their smallest big fifth wheel, it's still a big, high-profile, wide-body fifth wheel. And that means that you need a pretty decent truck to handle it. The Ford freaking Ranger need not apply. I would probably still recommend some variety of 1-ton. I don't think you necessarily need to go dually on this sucker, but some variety of 1-ton would probably be okay for you. Now, over here in the docking center, we've got a couple really cool things. First of all, the bedroom slide and the kitchen slide have 3-way switches that you can actually activate right outside. So you can personally line of sight those to make sure they open unobstructed. And you also have electric dump gate valves here in your, ooh, hello. All right, motion light. I happen to have been staring right at that thing right when it ignited. Paradigm has maintained a gas and electric water heater. They're also using a little bit bigger tank on that sucker. And down below, you might notice single sewer outlet on this guy right here. And despite the fact that this is their smallest Paradigm fifth wheel, it still has a 6-point hydraulic automatic leveling package. This is one of the smallest fifth wheels I've ever seen with a 6-point hydraulic leveling package. So that's kind of cool. They have a, Moride. There we go. Moride suspension, shackle treatment. We've got the Rotoflex shock dampening pin box as well. So towing and going with this, it could definitely be worse, Now down below, the bottom right, that's where your batteries could obviously be situated. Bottom left is either generic outside storage, or it could be prepped for a generator as an option from the factory, or it could actually have a generator installed in it from the factory, which is cool. And because it's a big drop frame, that left them the space above to always leave a little bit of available cargo area, which I think is pretty awesome. And again, oh man, I wish I had a better view of this sucker, because when I first saw the 2025 exterior on Paradigms, I'm not exaggerating. I thought it was a paint package. I was like, wow, okay, that's a good looking full body paint. And then I walked up and I touched it. I realized, holy crap, that's just fiberglass and decals, or decals, as some of our Canadian friends would call them. And I was very impressed. It has a very, very good look to it. Now, every RV's advantage is also its disadvantage. This is their smallest big fifth wheel, so it actually also has the smallest front pass-through compartment, so that's kind of worth noting. You also have a gas grill quick connect coming off the side here. That is technically thereby known as a propane cooker hooker in RV nerdese. The underbelly, it's fully enclosed, has radiant barrier, and all of your holding tanks have heat pads on them to give you some extended season capability. 0 to 100 degrees, as far as I know, is about all this is really rated and tested for. The phrase 4 seasons is just so disgustingly abused out there in the RV industry. I don't even like saying it, because there's some people that think when it's -20 wind chill that they're going to be fine. And RVs aren't really made for that. And I'm not really aware of anybody testing their RVs to those extremes. So I guess kind of keep that in mind there. Now, while we're looking down there at those tires, something new that they are now including on these is anti-lock braking. And I don't know what tipped me off to that. It felt like it was just staring me right in the face. But yeah, these have anti-lock braking now. They have ABS. And what blows me away is how ABS is not like government required on towable RVs. I think since 1997, semi-tractor trailers driven by professionally trained and licensed drivers have had to have ABS on them. Giant fifth wheels that often require no special licensing by complete novices have not had ABS required on them. So that really kind of surprises me. You may have noticed a sewer hose tube down there. Your lower deck slides are hydraulic rack and pinion. Your upper deck slide is a Norco exact slide, by the way. Now, on the back here, you do have yourself a 3,000-pound rated towing hitch off the back with some wiring harnesses. If I'm going to be ultra picky, I would kind of like those taillights to be mounted up a little bit higher so that, like, if you have a bike rack or something in that cargo receiver, it leaves the lights a little bit more visible, you know? Now, again, I do apologize that I'm not able to get you a wide angle shot of this because we got building support beams and everything else in the way. But up top on the roof, this does come factory standard with a 320 watt solar panel. Now they have, it's Solar Plus or something like that. It adds another panel. I think it's a 2,000 watt inverter that goes with it. That can run quite a few of the household outlets in the RV straight off battery power. But keep in mind, you start running stuff with an inverter off the battery, and just by the mere presence of the inverter, you're already like about 10% less efficient on your battery draw. Plus, you pull pretty hard off those batteries. So, you know, you're not going to be able to use their Solar Plus package and stay off the grid full time. Like, it's not the kind of package that's like going to crank the air conditioners and fully recharge the batteries. It's just an extended boondock package to help keep your 12-volt stuff alive longer. And in case you're curious, if you happen to notice them, sometimes you look at the sides of Alliance slide outs, you see these little tabs sticking off. This is just an extra little piece of trim that they include on here so that it flips the wiper seals on our slide outs over here so that they make sure they wipe all the way in or out. Because if they get crimped halfway through, then water can just walk right inside. And even if the RV didn't have a leak, you now have a leak. Whatever you're looking for, big, small, in between. Basically, chances are, if it's on wheels, we have it at Bish's RV. So I'm going to leave you some links in the video description, in the video description, to check for pricing and availability on the 295 MK that you just saw, as well as links to some of these other models that I just mentioned. If you're kind of curious or kind of serious and you want to see what else is out there, you can shop straight from your toilet, folks. We'll make it that easy for you. When you're ready, we're ready. If you appreciate how we try to give you all the info, hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you on the next one. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.